Welcome back to another episode of Baxter's Buzz. I am your host, Baxter E. Hall. Welcome to my brain. Welcome to my frequency. Enter at your own risk. Um, Today we are having another episode of Mindfulness Mondays with
Yep.
my friend Sharonda Simmons. Hello, Sharonda.
Hi.
Hello, welcome back. Sharonda is an equity and engagement consultant and also the founder of Thrive and Shine. So we've had a number of conversations now where,
hmm
the last time we talked, it was around sort of the responsibility that people of color have
hmm
and just the burden that we feel. And it led me to this question that I don't want to say it's split down the middle, but me
hmm
personally can see both sides of the responses that I typically hear.
Okay.
As it relates to um, people that want more education and that want more perspective. There's a lot of Black people specifically that'll say it's not my job to educate you on my culture or my trauma or what I'm going
hmm
through. Um, I'll make that statement, get your opinion, and then
hmm
I'll kind of jump in.
So, yes, let me start there. And I think it's a yes and. So you're talking about that sort of being split down the middle. So when you talk about like allyship, I do think that when you talk about allies, there is this part of like collectively working together. And so when you talk about making change and breaking down systems, there is this time in this space when it's appropriate to be working with different communities. And so that does involve a little bit of like vulnerability and risk on whatever the community is that is experiencing that systematic oppression. So it could be women working with men, it could be folks of color working with white people. And so there is this time where if you're talking about allyship and like coalition building, I do think that there has to be people who are willing to sort of like work and connect with other communities. That's how change continues to happen. But at the same time, it is not every individual person of color to like go explain and teach and educate. There are plenty of resources out there, particularly in 2021, and sometimes you've got to do your own work and you got to do the heavy lifting. And so, there are now folks who are out who are like trained facilitators on like white identity and they're white identified folks. And so sometimes signing up for that stuff is really helpful because it allows you to process in a space that's not burdening communities of color. So I do think it's complex is I guess my best response to what
Yeah,
you're saying. But I think it's yes, no, both, and go read a book.
yeah, yeah. I think some of it. Yeah. First of all, every woman isn't uh, qualified to speak on the historic oppression of women,
Mm-hmm.
and goes the same for being Black or for any other marginalized community,
Yeah.
right? Everyone doesn't. Um, they aren't qualified. They don't feel comfortable, and they don't feel like it's their job. And also, not one person will ever be the spokesperson of an entire
Yeah.
group of people, right? Unless the group is formed with this person being the spokesperson. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, like in its larger term, we're talking about ethnic background, religion, race. These things, we're all different, right? But there are certain things that we can point to that we may share a history, but maybe not a perspective.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the resentment and a lot of those, because when I used to hear those comments, I would think, well, it sort of is our responsibility to educate the people that want more information so that we can have that allyship, and so that we can properly educate or at least point people in the right direction. And then I realized that there are people that were using uh, marginalized communities, specifically Black people, as like their Cliff Note versions of
Yeah.
stuff, right? Where it was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, no, I talked to my neighbor. My neighbor's Black, and I'm
It's
all
all good.
set.
I know it now.
I'm
So
all
I get
set
to,
now. Yeah,
yep.
and I think that that's what people want. It's like, okay, give me the summarized version of your pain, and it's like, nah, that's not okay, because if you I can help you fill in some pieces that you may have missed while
Mm-hmm.
you're educating yourself, but I'm not here to run uh, workshops and educate you while I'm, you know, when this information is available to you.
Yeah. And I think that internal work is important. And so I think a lot of times, and that to me is part of like privilege, it's part of capitalism. I go on and on about that. But this idea of like, I have to produce or I have to seek something external, everyone, when it comes to having these conversations, you've got to do some internal work. And so you can talk to however many friends you want of color, but if you don't do internal work and talk about what does it mean for me as a white person to be in this society, and people have not always told me the truth about my identities, or what does it mean to be, you know, a man, and understand the privileges that I may have. Like if you don't do that internal work in terms of what that means for you, how are you really going to be invested in what that means for me? And
Right.
so I think that's the part that's we're all getting robbed when it comes to, you know, oppression. And so to understand that there's something that you're losing too, like you've got to have some intrinsic motivation, and you've got to do some internal work and some seeking of
Yeah,
knowledge as well.
show me you care.
Yeah.
Show me you're invested, and I'll invest a little time to you to help clarify some things, and provide you with some perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you are doing, all sorts of things, coaching and consulting. Where can people find you if they want to talk about potential coaching or consulting for their companies and businesses?
Yeah. So people can email me at Sharonda@thriveandshinenow.com. You can spell my name Sharonda. If you're watching the audio version, you can go to the website, www.thriveandshinenow.com. That is Thrive with the N is in Nancy, not spelled out all the way. You can also find me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Send me a message, shoot me an email, and I would love to collaborate with folks.
Cool. Well, another great episode. Thank you for joining me. On behalf of Sharonda, I am Baxter E. Hall. I appreciate all of the support. Please keep it coming, and looking forward to doing this again soon.
Yes, thank you.
Peace.
Bye.